What's happening, family? It is your man, CRB Jr. here at the Motown Mafia Show. Of course, it is a Big Boss Filmworks production. I am joined in studio for an impromptu conversation with my lifelong friend, the son of the legend,
Dang.
Eddie the Fat Man Jackson. Eddie Jackson Jr., how you doing, family?
Oh, I'm feeling lovely tonight, man. I'm all right.
So we was running the streets, just reminiscing,
Yes,
and then we
sir.
got the news flash
Yes,
that
sir.
the leader of or co-founder with his brother Southwest T, Demetrius Flannery, known of course to the world as Big Meech, is no longer behind bars, man.
He's down there in Miami at a halfway house.
He's at a halfway house. They call it the Community Confinement Center,
So you
located in
heard it
Miami.
first here on Motown Mafia Podcast. Big Meat is no longer locked up. He in a halfway house down there in Miami, baby. He down there in Miami where I'm
About
hanging
10
at.
minutes from you.
Oh
About 20,
man,
20
my
minutes.
man down there. Hey, peace, love, everybody. We got to celebrate. And I got to suggest this like when a fat man, all the big fellas used to come home in the old day. Everybody would get together and give him something. So I say somebody need to start personally a GoFundMe page for Big Meat, and everybody laid $20 on him, $10, $5, something from the streets to a motherfucking legend coming
Hey, and
home.
I got one better than this, and I'll put my money where the mouth is. All us content creators who've been doing stories about that man, and we should have did it for T when he came home, but T we need to. They both of them now that both brothers is out from behind bars. They can get the money. They can split up besides themselves. The right thing back from our day, as Eddie Baby was just explaining. When your pops come home, y'all go on a tour, right, to talk to all the other.
Milwaukee Jack, Treacherous, Black Butch, all
Now,
of
even
them.
though they know your father about to do what he do, they still show respect
And lay a little something on.
and put something in his head.
That's customary.
My father, same way, when he come home, whether it was Akbar, shout out to the OG Akbar,
Peace and love.
the
nothing
Boyer
but love and
family,
respect.
Bracy, Jerry, these things hit their hit, man, because the man didn't come home. There was a time, y'all, in our community, that's really how we did. It didn't matter how big a fella you was or how much you had. You showed some respect and reverence to be like, man, everybody know money count, and I want you to know we appreciate you, and here goes something to put in your pocket.
Man, any nigga doing 20 years need a little help. Let me just be flat out, and I'm going to leave it right there on the table. Any nigga that's been sitting in jail for 20 years need
Need
a little help. Flat
So,
out.
so maybe we have to organize that, Lou. We're gonna start we're gonna shame them. We're gonna start the Demetrius Southwest T content creators who have profited from BMF Story Fund. I'm going right now on camera. I donate. Big Boss Filmworks is gonna donate $100 to the Southwest T Big Meech content creators who make money off of BMF Fund. And I want all the rest of y'all out there. And I got a list too. So don't make me have to start shaming y'all. I'm going to get it organized so y'all don't think I'm involved, that it's like me trying to build a school I never built or nothing like that. This money going to get to where it's supposed to get to. I don't need y'all money.
There you go.
I don't
There
need y'all
you
money
go.
like
There
that.
you
I
go.
hate that to talk like that. I don't need y'all money. I'm just saying it's called respect.
There you go.
We all done sat here and made money telling stories about Meech
Man,
and
I
about
made
T.
money with that man through Jazzy Face, so you know it's from the heart for me.
You see what I'm
Hey, that man and look, hey,
So,
peace and love to Big Meech. I hope you come home.
but yeah.
Go on and do your show on Stars, and man,
So
make more money
that's
than ever.
yeah. So
You
real
never ever have to enter the streets again.
for all jokes aside, a serious for all those of us who've lived that life, been visiting people, had to sit down, or been visiting family and friends who've been sat down. It is a time to celebrate anytime one of us get from behind them bars, because ain't no man supposed to be in a cage. And if you didn't kill nobody, 20 years of your life, that's a long time, and you ain't killed nobody
Not
for
from her. I
a
agree with
nonviolent crime, man.
you know, this legal system, as I've said, needs to be really looked over.
Yeah. I mean,
It
for a
really-
nonviolent
this
crime
felon thing-
to justify taking 20 years of a man's life, you know, that's a big bridge, y'all. And I know our community, we kind of got some jealousy, sick issues because he had all that money. He thought whatever he did. First of all, he was a young man when he did it. You can't expect. So he didn't pay it, but anyway, he didn't pay his debt to society.
Let me
Go ahead.
piggyback Benzino. If he ain't got no money, it's from helping you son of a bitch. God damn, let's be real about this shit.
Yeah,
If the motherfucker ain't got no money, cause he helping you son of a bitch, like MC Hammer.
that's Hammer class. And
Yeah, no money, cause he helping all you motherfuckers.
That's the part of our
y'all
culture.
Got to be kill all of those dumb shit, man, and come real.
Yeah.
You know a nigga coming home 20 years out the penitentiary. Ain't nothing wrong with giving that man a few dollars. Say, hey, man, peace, love, respect. We love the show on Stars.
That's right.
There you go.
Now, I want to see, that's what I want to see. Do y'all love the story of Big Meech or y'all love the man, Big Meech?
You ever had any dealings with the man, you're going to love the man because that nigga was 100.
Hey,
Flat out. That was a 100 nigga.
And, you know, in that
I'm going to give it to y'all real.
In the Blowing Money Fast series, one of the best parts, and shout out to the big homie KK. If you guys have not checked it out, go over the stars, look at the Blowing Money Fast docu-series. You'll see, of course, the famous picture of his dad and my dad when they're crowning all the other big fellas from Detroit. But you also see brother KK Knowles, author of, what is it, If These Bricks Could Talk, correct? Great book about the project. If These Bricks Could Talk. KK. So in that same docu-series, though, they asked Meech's mom, do you think in the end something good might come from all of this? And she said, well, you know, if my grandson get this acting thing going, and my sons can get out and get involved in this entertainment thing, and we ain't got to go back to the streets, then maybe, just maybe, it was all worth it.
Second that emotion.
And I second that too. And Meech said a profound thing. He said, you know, if my son can get involved with this acting thing, man, and he ain't got to go through what we had to go through and have to pitch and have to duck the feds and do this time, then maybe it's worth me sitting down.
And want to be like us.
And be like us. Because he said he get to do both, Eddie. He said, my son get to pretend being me without none of the risk of being me.
Beautiful?
He said, yeah, man, I was deep. For those who understand where people come from this world, how much a win that is. This kid gets to pretend against the...
Just a little list for the audience.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We want to know, how did Big Meech get out so all this old snitch bullshit won't come about? I hear Steve Fishman, attorney Demetrius Holloway used to use, I've used.
Yeah.
A lot of Detroiters have used Steve Fishman. I hear he was instrumental in getting Big Meech out. Is that true or not from what you know?
Not only is it true, but he also got T out.
Southwest T.
Fishman got T out first, got him the sentence reduction and what they called the compassionate release that they was doing during COVID.
Uh-huh.
Fishman they put Steve, your man, Fish on that case.
And
he got South out first. Meech got denied the compassionate release for COVID. But then Fishman came back and double backed and got him a straight sentence reduction. So with that sentence reduction, without that sentence reduction, Meech would have to do another 4 years before he got to the halfway house where he's at now.
But because of Steve
Fishman's work.
The fish, we got to holler at Steve Fishman. Yeah. See, y'all don't know legends when y'all hear motherfucking legends. I bet you goddamn my man is hollering Steve Fishman named Southwest T and Big Meech.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did
right by Demetrius Holloway was a straight fan of motherfucking Steve Fishman. Yeah. And as I said, from the
Mumford's finest. Mumford's finest.
Hey, that's Mumford's finest. There you go.
Mumford's finest.
Hey, like you said, it ain't about the books, it's about the person, baby. You can get that education anywhere in the world. Mumford at Southfield.
Mumford High School, located on Curtis and Wyoming on the famous northwest side of Detroit.
You said they got the same books there as they do in Harvard.
That's right.
Is that not true?
That's the fact.
Do they got the same books there as they got in Harvard?
Yeah, that's the fact.
They said, God damn it, you can take Mumford and go all the way to Harvard if that's what you want to do.
You got, sorry to interrupt, but you got Cavario. I'm going to turn the phone over so you can see Cavario speak to you guys.
Okay.
Come on with it. We love to hear Cavario.
You know that's something mellow. That's the big homie.
Hey, welcome to the party, Cavario. And definitely give my man Branson greetings. Tell him smoke a lot is right back smoking, goddammit. Peace and love to all of New York from Eddie, baby. S, love you, man. Love my man S. And Soundview Projects. I got to shout out Soundview Product. Jeff, I hope you doing all right. Shotty, S, Pretty, and Shorty.
Well, I
God
can't
damn
see
it, that's
Kavarius.
my team from Soundview Projects.
It doesn't matter.
Bring him in. There we go. Okay. Except he should be on now.
It's all good. What's happening, homie? Yes, you guys know me and one of the cool things about this whole content thing that we got going was you got a chance to meet some really real guys and some really interesting people.
Man, this
and,
is life,
and in this journey,
man. Just can't even
one of the
believe
great
it.
pleasures has been getting a chance to meet the brother Cavario, then do some work with him. He just, he won us. He's the real.
But I
He's
heard
the real.
so much
Unable to
about
join.
Kavarius. See,
Don't worry about it.
Kavarius,
Don't
we
worry
don't
about it.
realize.
Don't worry about
My
it.
man S used to always talk about him. I never met him, but my man S know him. And he used to
Well, he's a sound. Yeah, Kavario did a lot of running around
he said
Soundview.
Kavarius will have you in stitches, man. S love that bro.
Yeah,
S
man.
love Kavarius. Is that not right?
Cavario and
Is
S.
that not right? Is S not your man?
Yeah. But just stand up guy, great guy. I mean,
Yeah, you can't find him like that.
No,
They don't make him like that.
They don't make him like
They don't
that.
even
And
make 'em
speaking
like
of that, y'all who have not got his book, Raised by Wolves.
All right.
I mean, and I'm gonna say this, and I've got a true crime book, available on Amazon, of course. Motown Mafia Memoirs of a Kingpin's Kid, and I've read all the other books. Shout out to the brother Pap, bound by honor, torn by greed. Shout out to Sergeant Smack Ike Atkins' book. I'm gonna say this, Cavario's book, the best.
There you go. You
I ain't
heard it
saying
right here.
his story is just as good as any of them, but the way he wrote it,
you go.
as I told him, when you read it after, you're gonna be like, oh, this guy lived it.
Oh yeah.
You can tell,
feel it.
you can feel it.
Like them guys over in London.
Yeah, you can
that
feel it
story
like,
going
nah.
over there, You can feel it.
If
you
a
know?
guy ain't lived it, he
Yeah.
can't tell
He
this.
can't write it.
He can't write it.
He can't write what he
So
ain't
y'all
written.
need to definitely, if y'all really want to hear it from and read a story, Raised by a Wolf, Cavario Crew. On this, and we're going to switch it back up. So, on Crime Town, with Ron Giovanni, the guy who was in charge of your dad's case, right, he talks about the reason he didn't think your father was getting the plug from the Italians. He thought your father was like the Detroit branch of the Nicky Barnes council situation, right? And while he had your father under surveillance, you can go on Crime Town here. He says a big fella from New York named Heavy Eddie picked him up from the airport. They had a flat tire. Eddie called somebody else, another Cadillac, and picked up Eddie and Heavy. So he's got pictures. The feds is taking pictures, and this guy named Heavy. I never heard the name Heavy before or after, except for when Ron Giovanni, the head DA agent, says it. Me, Lou, Cavario, and Al all in Harlem about 4 months ago doing some work, and we own Cavario's old block, I think 115 8th Avenue, and Cavario kicking the game, and then he kicking the game, he's saying, yeah, and Frank Matthews' spot was over here at one such and such, and Nicky Barnes had such and such, and then Heavy was doing $1 million a day on this block. I say, Heavy? He said, yeah, everybody know Big Heavy from back in the day. I say, man, you only the second guy. The only other person I ever heard say it was a DEA agent who said he saw Eddie Jackson and Heavy together. And Cavario spit the game. So we finally did some more research on this guy, Heavy. They list Heavy, while the feds wasn't half crazy. They list Heavy as being on the same par with Nicky Barnes.
But he's a part of Nicky Barnes' crew.
They all hustle in the same block. So I said, man, it's a small world. I said, the fans wasn't crazy. Cavario know about Heavy. But he is just such a source. When it comes to Harlem.
One last thing, I just love that. You know anything about Goldfinger Terrell?
He does. The only one I ever...
Goldfinger Terrell.
The only picture I ever got...
Harlem, man. One of the coldest motherfuckers, the fat man to ever came out of Harlem.
Yeah.
Was Goldfinger
We got to
Terrell.
get Cavario on
I
that.
never hear nobody talk about Goldfinger Terrell.
He's one of those ones...
That's one of Harlem's finest.
I think like this guy, Heavy, he's like your friend, the big fella, F. Walls.
Gotcha.
If you in the world, everybody know him. But if you ain't in the world,
nobody know
him.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think like Heavy and I think Goldfinger the same way. Everybody in that world.
And Heavy out of Harlem as well.
That was a Brooklyn nigga, but he had a spot up in Harlem.
But he was a Brooklyn brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
And wait a minute. You ever hear that story about your dad had that Trans Am that was like a pace car for the
Yes.
and how he outran it?
Black Butch brought it back to him, brought it in town to him.
We believe now when we start connecting the dots. Guess who specialized in race car, Trans Am building? Because obviously the car that your father had could outrun the police.
You know that.
Heavy is like in the Nascar record books. He was taking all his bag, and we're gonna do some work on the guy. Heavy was
Yes.
all. I'm pretty sure he got that car from Heavy because Heavy special. And I was like, do you know? It's a legendary story about Eddie O'Man having this Indy 500 pace car Trans Am.
My father said at 200 miles an hour when he put that motherfucking 6-gear hit rubber. He said that's the only car he ever had. He had never drove it as fast as it would go.
This
He
brother.
said that motherfucking Needleberry and that motherfucker wouldn't stop rolling. He said that motherfucking car there, that Trans Am, it was red and white, and he took the bird off the top of that bitch. He said that motherfucker was so, Butch said that motherfucker outran the police so goddamn tough, he had to take and snatch the motherfucking wires out of it because he couldn't turn it off. That's what the Black Dispatch say about that motherfucker. They said, man, I outran the police all the way to Indiana somewhere, man. Had to call your father. The car wouldn't turn off, man. I had to snatch the motherfucking wires out of it, man. Get out and walk away from that motherfucker. I'm sorry. That motherfucker there was a legend.
Rufus Heavy Boyd was the man's government name. He's a famous NASCAR man. And he obviously, him and your dad were doing major. But anyway, when I was like,
used to do a lot of car racing and betting about racing cars.
Yeah.
They used to block streets off and shit. They had that bad too.
But yeah, shout out to the homie Cavario, man. He's just such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this world. And we're gonna do some things and make sure, you tell the other big homie, your main man Branson, that the Detroit people, we have not forgotten about him. We connecting the dots. But truly, as the preacher said, how long? Not very long. Not very much longer. So, and of course, on that, and, Cavario spoke about it a lot. He said one day that him and MEECH, this is when MEECH is on fire, because Cavario stayed down with BMF for 3-4 months when they were all in Atlanta, right? He asked MEECH, because Cavario been around the block, and he know how it really end. He asked MEECH, he say, how you think this all end, man? And he said, MEECH pondered for a minute and said, I guess eventually them people come get us. We all sit down for 10 years. We come back home to our money. That ain't how it work. I'm sure over the years, MEECH had a couple times to think about, but it's so good because coming home to a TV show that you can be involved with and some branding opportunities and hook up with one, you plugged in with the right people, you connected with 50 Cent and some real professional people. So I could see a BMF line of clothing. I could see a BMF champagne line. I could see, obviously I already got the BMF cannabis. And your man in the cannabis, anybody in the BMF family, holla at your man. I'm one of the only 5 black licensed dispensaries in the state of Michigan. How I don't have your product, I'm trying to figure out. Now, speaking of, your man, Death Row.
I know Jazzy Fader and shit. I tell you probably, you don't know Jazzy Fader.
I don't know. He just got plugged in with the Death Row. Shit. Snoop just lowered the prices for his weed for us.
I like that Snoop Death Row.
Oh, no. Shout out to the homie Snoop. Snoop just lowered the prices for us brothers. Man. So, shameless plug. Death Row will be available at the Dime Shop, 1525 Broadway. Come holler at your boy. Give us a buzz if you need delivery service. It is legal.
And put it in the air, baby. Put it in the air.
Yeah. Also, the Buried Alive project, that's something that MEECH's lawyer was involved in my research on this case. So if you guys are too hateful and spiteful to donate to that man, donate at least to his nonprofit, man. The Buried Alive project. It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing.
Man, them is walking dead men in jail. That's what he mean by buried alive.
Yeah.
When you are in jail, You are a walking dead man. That's what my father used to always say. You make me cry, man. Say, Eddie, baby, I'm a walking dead man.
Yeah,
So have you ever seen a dead man walking? Go to jail and you shall see plenty of them. If you ever want to see a walking dead man, go to a penitentiary and I promise you, you will see a bunch of walking dead men.
And one of our journalist friends, whose name we will leave due to controversy unspoken, talked to Meech. And Meech, according to everyone who has talked to him, he is not only a first class tier 1 trafficker for sure, and will go in the Hustlers Hall of Fame, first ballot unanimous.
No doubt about
He
it.
going to Hustle Hall of
First
Fame.
ballot.
First ballot unanimous.
Unanimous
Vote.
No doubt about it.
But they was asking him, so he's been studying this game, and they said the three, well, name me the people that influenced you. He said, the Davis brothers, Dwight and Doc Davis, because they had an international plug.
Good choice.
He said the YBI organization because they employed a whole crew and showed young niggas how to get money.
Another good choice.
He say, and Eddie Jackson, he showed how to really be a big fella and live and create a legend. And those were the 3 street role models that he fashioned himself. And if you look at BMF, his behavior with money is kind of similar to your dad's attitude.
It's similar.
You know, your dad was throwing.
He was a young star. He had a hell of a business mind, too.
Yeah.
They don't come along often.
Yeah.
You don't meet Demetrius Holloway too many times in life. You don't meet Eddie Jackson too many times in life. And you do not meet Demetrius Flannery too many times in life.
Yeah. So again, from the whole Real True Street Crimes family, from the whole Big Boss Filmworks family, salute. Happy you been home, T. Happy you home, Meech. Really from the bottom of my heart, you guys deserve a break. You know, you guys did it the way you did what had to be done.
They didn't lay the way.
Yeah.
Give them their props.
That's true, and you guys have opened up some avenues for all of us guys,
many ways,
whether it be in social media, now TV and movies. If it wasn't for the buzz you guys created,
and we're proud of y'all
with this BMF
from
thing,
Detroit.
then
we are proud you all are from Detroit and you all are Detroit.
You guys have given.
We feel like, and well, I hustle with y'all through Jazzy Face, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah. But it's only, credit needs to be given where credit is due. For this whole genre of true street guys being in, when you see Bumpy Johnson and the Bumpy Johnson story in Godfather of Harlem, now you see on Peacock, Fight Night. All of this is because the BMF thing, when you guys went mainstream and made hustling look glamorous, and then tied it in with the hip hop thing.
I'm one that can say this truly. I love the BMF show on the streets, and I love the BMF show on Stars. That's what I can say.
Well, the first 3 episodes I thought was great. I'm gonna leave it after that.
I can say that.
The first 3 seasons were great.
The BMF show on the streets was a motherfucker, man.
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna tell you the truth about it. Now, Stars is all right, but live in color, in effect. What you say that man he used to pay? Go ahead, tell.
Oh, my man, I got a homie Alton. He was in my wedding. He came up from Atlanta. Alton, the legend is, and I know the man personally, he say Meech would pay him $1,500 for every $5,000 that Meech would give him to throw away and make it rain at the club. So let me give you the math on this now. Alton, and to show you the kind of nigga that Meech was, Alton was just a regular street nigga to be around Black Magic City, picking up
a Flavor Flav.
A Flavor Flav style nigga.
That's what he is.
A Flavor Flav, exactly.
He's a motherfucking hype man.
Hype man.
Alton is the hype. Every big fella got a hype man. You gotta have a hype man. Muhammad Ali had Boondini Brown, and he had Alton.
And he had Alton. So he'd pay Alton $1,500. Here's for your pocket, Alton. Now here go $5,000. Go clown. Throw it away and just be talking Meech. This was Meech BMF, you know, and they put on a show. Hey, Meech wasn't far off. You know, I don't know if it was the greatest show on earth, but goddamn it, he was one of them.
And that's Detroit.
And that's that Detroit.
That's
the only
Detroit.
thing I'm gonna say in all
That's
honesty,
Detroit,
Meech
baby.
and T, y'all know, man, when you take this Detroit style shit on the road, y'all, that's why y'all got famous. We understand y'all, man, but they had never seen they didn't know that we behaved that way in the D. So
Well,
when they
see,
took it out of town, man, them niggas lost their
Can I just tell
mind.
you something?
What's that?
And this is real true, and this is probably a part of it. Detroit is where everybody came for freedom. All these niggas was oppressed in the South.
Yeah.
My mom, all them came to Chicago. Then the factories was hiring here. Henry Ford created the middle class, and all the motherfuckers came to Detroit. And that's the Mecca.
It was. Charleston White said.
That's the Mecca.
Charleston White.
Ford
Wait a minute.
created the
Speaking
Mecca.
of this is from the social media content creator Charleston White. He said we already had Wakanda in this country from Black Panther, a black paradise. It was called Detroit. And if you lived in Detroit in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, you would know why he would say such a thing. It was we had our own little African-American paradise and didn't even realize it.
Piggyback off the Lions.
What?
God damn it, we had grit.
Yeah.
We Detroit, baby. We got grit, God damn it. We got grit, baby.
When we grew up, we were still the motor capital of the world and Motown, and the headquarters of Motown music. There was just not a better place. So that swag that Meech and T and the whole BMF situation took on the road, I don't think it's overstatement. Cavario and his crew up there and his predecessors in Harlem, the Harlem swag and the Detroit swag is what has been the swag setters for our community.
Nicky has.
That's what I'm saying. Harlem and Detroit swag has set the way for a long time.
From the makers of Motown Mafia, beyond the headlines, beyond the crime, beyond the glamours and gold, they don't run around the streets. They run the streets. Beyond Street Dreams. Documentary coming soon to Amazon Prime, Tubi, and Pluto TV.
Your cancer, you suck. You try to break us down, but you only strengthen our resolve. You bring pain and hardship, yet we respond with courage and unity. You may darken our days, but you cannot extinguish our hope. We will fight you with every ounce of strength we have, standing together, resilient and unyielding. Your presence is a challenge, but our spirit is indomitable. We will overcome.